Cheers, everyone.
We're live.
Welcome. We're live, baby, to the first annual. We should make this an annual thing, Juice. First annual.
Yes.
It's just me and Juice stream. What is wild? Juice, do you feel a little bit like our family went to Paris and forgot us at home?
Yeah, totally. I was kind of bummed I didn't get the invite to wherever they are. Zimbabwe or whatever.
They did go to Zimbabwe. Yeah.
Trip they took, but
they had to get like their measles shot updated. It was a whole thing. But since Mike's not here tonight, I just want to quickly air some grievances with you all. So I'm drinking this wonderful drink that I made for myself. But let me tell you, I message Juice and I say, hey, Juice, first annual, just the two of us stream, going to be on 2 minutes. And then I go down to the kitchen because Mike made sure to buy vodka before he left so I could have Dirty Shirley so I could sleep because I don't sleep well when he's not gone. And what is not in the kitchen? Mother effing grenadine juice. That's what's not in the kitchen. Okay. So then I have to message him and I go, did you take all the grenadine and not tell me? And then I literally had to call him because he wasn't answering me quick enough. And he was all like, oh yeah, it's gone. Sorry about that. You can just use the cherry Gatorade. No, it doesn't effing taste the same, sir. It doesn't taste the same. So what I did, you see, is I was like, well, I guess I'm just screwed and I will not have a drink to drink. But then I remembered we made a dupe of one of our favorite drinks at Trailer Park, which does include grape Kool-Aid. And I found some grape Kool-Aid, and so we were okay. But tonight, all grievances are being aired, y'all. We've been let loose. The juice is loose. I'm loose. We're ready. We hope the boys are having fun in Zimbabwe, but we're ready. It's going to be a great stream.
Let's do it.
You're a jabroni. Yeah.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
You're a jabroni. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. We're ready.
I'm ready. We're ready. We've come with a really fun stream tonight, I think. I don't know. I'm excited for it. We've compiled mostly Juice has come up with some really clever questions. I came up with a couple. There might just turn into service industry rants at the end. Everyone prepare for that. It's going to be fun. And we've come up with some good questions. Everyone knows, I hope everyone knows I'm obsessed with like films to be buried with, that kind of style stuff. And we've done a film to be buried with and a music to be buried with episode before. And tonight we're like, what if we just like ask like fun, random, like things about pop culture, things about travel, life, just fun, weird questions. And so we did, and it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good time. Yeah. We still do have the Streamlabs going for Make-A-Wish rolling over into next month.
Yeah.
Or rolling from July into August.
Yes.
However, we don't have access to the Streamlabs. So if there's any Streamlabs donations, we won't be able to read them until AJ gets back next week.
Wait in suspense ever until next week, because did we try to get the login? We did. Did it not work? That basically. So I think it'd be fun. Everyone, please predict the future in your Streamlabs donations because we'll be reading them out next week. We'll see how right you are.
Maybe AJ can run it from while he's running errands and packing yet. Maybe he can.
Not too busy packing. Just put it.
He can just upload it. DM us.
Let us know. DM us. Let us know. We'll read it out. Okay. Thanks. We know you're busy, but like if you could just do us one small favor, we'd really appreciate it.
So good. And AJ, just to cap off the grenadine fiasco, AJ did say in our chat that he would be forcing Mike, just like when you catch a kid smoking and make him smoke a whole pack of cigarettes. He says that he promises that Mike will drink a whole bottle of grenadine in one night this weekend. So Thank you, look forward to that.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be the first What the Show reel.
Ooh, yes. Listen, AJ, you're a true legend. Not all heroes wear capes. We salute you for having my back on this grenadine fiasco. We really do.
So I guess let's just jump right in. So
I was born ready.
the first question of the list of wonderful questions compiled between us.
Yeah.
What band, I guess, or artist would you most want to go on a musical cruise with? What band or artist would you most want to go on a musical cruise with?
Yes. I have a fun answer and a serious answer to this question. So my fun answer, because I once saw them in concert and they literally advertised for their cruise at the concert. And after people watching at their concert, I was like, imagine this on a boat for 4 days, like just hitting the Lido deck with these people. And that's New Kids on the Block. Okay. They do cruises. And if you've never seen a bunch of middle-aged women lose their ever-loving mind over a bunch of middle-aged men, like you're not just like love staring at Donnie Wahlberg's abs, you haven't done life right. So I, just for the people, like it really has nothing to do with the New Kids, no offense to them, but it 100% for the people watching, I would choose New Kids on the Block as my like joke answer, but I'm not even joking. Like I think I would pay for that. Mm-hmm. But my real answer, and this is a person who would never end up doing a cruise, I think, because her career is just way too big. But my real answer would be Taylor Swift, because the experience of a Taylor Swift concert is legendary. And I'm just imagining that as like a 3-day full cruise experience, and like all the outfit changes, all the girls it would be like Barbie. Like, I think like truly the beginning of the movie, they were like, hi Barbie, and like living their perfect Barbie dream life. That would be a Taylor Swift cruise. Like everyone would just be like, oh my God, girl, I love your outfit. No, I love your outfit. Your outfit is stunning. And like, it would just be a weekend of like girl power and compliments. And I would thrive off of it, I think, for sure. I want to know your answer.
Those are great answers. So like my favorite, we'll get into favorite bands when it comes to future question. So if I picked like one of my, like favorite metal bands or whatever, like it would just, the cruise would be full of a bunch of just sweaty dudes, and it would be an awesome time, and I'd love to be a part of it. But I was like, what band that I enjoy the music of and enjoy a lot of their music would the other people on the cruise, because cruises, I'm assuming they only play maybe like an hour or two a night. So you're talking like 10, 12 hours of the rest of the day interacting with other people who I want to interact with. And I think that a Blink-182 cruise would create some of the most wild, crazy.
Yeah, that's fair though, honestly.
It'd be generally like everyone would be in their 20s and 30s, and it would just be a wild, wild time, I think.
Yeah. There'd be some real millennial vibes going on that, like just the most millennial vibes. I say with love, and also a little disrespect to my own generation, but also mostly with love. I also really like the idea of Williams' Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out of their shells, the cruise. I agree. And I also agree that Alan, as in Ken's friend from Barbie, would be on the Taylor Swift cruise. 100%. I stamp of approval on that. Yes, he would be. True. You were so right. It would be a bunch of girls and Alan, and he'd be like, hey guys, I'm here. I found all Ken's clothes. And we'd be like, hells yeah, Alan, come join us. It would be great. I have 10 out of 10. Yeah, I think like the New Kids cruises, they do like, I think they do 2 concerts. So they do like one indoor one and one outdoor one on the Lido deck. And then the rest of it is like trivia. And there's like a game show they do one night, like with the New Kids. And it's a whole thing. So like imagine that, but like with Blink-182 and just like a bunch of like emo millennials. Quality.
Be awesome. So, big surprise, who wrote this question? What sport do you most want a Wii Sports version of?
Yeah, this is a Juice button. Juice, this question was written for you, basically. So could you please give us your answer? Because I'm dying to know.
So I really didn't have, I actually, this is probably the question I thought about the least amount of time. but I thought so when I view Wii
Okay.
and like Wii Sports, I want something where I can view it as a workout or like where I'm getting exercise.
Okay.
And I
That's
thought,
fair.
what sport in a small room could I most get like that type of exercise? And so I'm going with spike ball.
Oh, okay. And what exactly is spike ball for the uninitiated, i.e. me?
So for those that don't know, so it's basically a little net. You
Okay.
sit down and you have a teammate. So it's basically like volleyball and ping pong, but
like
teams.
combined.
Kind of like or pickleball, like all those like, but you're and Foursquare where it's like you're just hitting a ball to the net. You can pass it the ball 3 times. I'll pull up a picture and it'll explain.
Yeah,
it
you know, I like pics.
So, perfect. So, yeah, it's essentially like 4 people in a very small area.
Are you sitting or standing?
Standing.
You stand. Okay.
So it'd be like Wii Tennis, but
with the
as
partner.
soon as I pulled it. Yes, it's like volleyball, tennis. So here we go. So so 2 are on the same team, and so you can pass it back and forth up to 3 times, just like volleyball.
These kids love this. Look how happy they are.
I would destroy them all.
Obviously.
So the reason it make a good Wii Sports is because you'd be able to like jump around like you only are traveling so much to hit the ball. So like you could usually in your living room like pretty actively like hit it. So
I was expecting the net to be.
Like that.
Have you seen the people that do? Oh God, it's got an actual term, but I can't think of what it is. It's the soccer and ping pong thing. Have you seen people play that?
No.
It's weirdly fascinating to me. When I used to work at NBC, it was on the TV all the time because certain times of the year in the middle of the day, there was no sports to put on. And this was randomly a thing that we watched. And it actually does have a name, but I can't remember what the hell it's called right now. But it's very weird. You'll have to look it up. It's strange.
Tech ball?
What is it?
Tech ball? TEQ ball?
Maybe. Does it look like it's like a ping pong table, but they're like playing soccer? Yeah, then that's it. It's very strange. But that is a thing. And there's also like the volleyball soccer combination too. Apparently you can just mesh soccer with any sport. Do I think that would work great in Wii games? Probably not. Is there? Yes, that's it. That is it. Isn't it weird? It's very weird. Is there Wii soccer? Is that even a thing that exists?
I don't know.
Because I feel like that'd be a weird sport to make Wii version of because it's all like with your
because you can't. Yeah.
Like what is the controller doing? Unless you found like an ankle controller. So I don't feel like that works. I'm gonna say Highlight. I actually have no idea how that's played. I just know that a beer is named after it and no one can ever pronounce it. So that's going to be what I would like to be a Wii sport.
Highlight is a weird sport or is a sport?
It's a sport. Like it's kind of like badminton from my understanding of it. Like one of those kind of things. And I don't know why the beer is named after it. I know that there are Highlight facilities, like courts, I guess, in Florida, and it's a Florida-based beer. And so I don't know. I think maybe they were just like, Highlight. But it just cracks me up because no one can ever say it. So
yeah, the first time I had a Highlight was the day after your wedding at Epcot.
Yay!
With one Mike Deacon. That I was like, which beer should I get here? He's like, Highlight's good. I'm like,
it is. It's a very popular.
I've seen it in Wisconsin in the last maybe year or so, but
it's
definitely not
thriving. It's really built up from its little humble beginnings. It's little humble thingies. Am I making words up? Like, oh no, weirdly. So there is a sign when I drive home. Well, from Orlando to Gainesville, I don't drive that way. I don't have to get on 75 anymore to drive home to Florida because obviously I'm coming down 95 now. But there's literally a sign. There is a Highlight facility right by McIntosh, Florida. So literally on the sign it says Highlight and then McIntosh. And so every time I pass it now, I think of the beer. But my whole life that it's been there. So yeah, there you go.
And AJ bringing up Wii darts just made me think of Wii Wii pool or like Wii billiards.
Oh,
be fun.
billiards.
You need, yeah, you aim it with like the nunchuck and then yeah.
Wii darts. I actually just played real darts for the first time ever in my life. So there you go. And did I mostly play it because it made me think of Ted Lasso? Yes.
I was going to say, yeah. Was it as epic as Ted Lasso?
I saw it and I said barbecue sauce and I wanted to go play. It was beautiful, guys. It was really beautiful.
Hit or miss with darts. Quite literally.
I'm really bad, but it was fun. Macintosh, yes. Like in the Blank Check movie. No, sadly, they do not make apples there. But it is spelled Macintosh like that, like in Blank Check. Yeah.
This is going to be late.
You can really taste the apples.
I scrolled to the wrong screen. Anyway, let's move on. So our next question, these are kind of the 3 like warm-up questions, and then it starts, or 4 like warm-up questions, and it starts getting wild, getting good. If you could be an expert at any instrument, what would you pick?
Oh, violin, because I think that's badass. Yeah, right? Violin's cool. I've never looked at a violin player and been like, man, that looks lame. It always looks cool.
Yeah. I think I think I'd pick guitar because I look at like my brother's a really good guitar player. I look at like the shredders. I just get so jealous. Like I try to do that in the guitar, but like the guitar, like doing it on a guitar is so cool.
It's pretty badass. They're both badass. I really think if you know any instrument, it's badass. Like if you are an expert in any instrument, I think that's very badass.
Yeah. I am just mediocre in many instruments.
I can't play any instrument. I can do Lean on Me on the piano and not well. It's like literally 3. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Hot cross buns on the recorder because we all had to learn that in like 5th grade. Hot cross buns. Yeah. I can do that. That's it.
That's great. I did steal a kazoo once. I don't know if I told that story. I meant to pay for it. When I was in college in the symphonic band, we had a random like really old guy that was like enrolled in the college.
Okay.
And he like had a side hustle selling instruments. But he like set him out and was like just put like money in the jar basically. So he was selling a kazoo for like 25 cents or like 50 cents.
Also,
and it was basically, yeah. So I wanted to use a kazoo in one of like the very first original guitar videos I was doing. So I was like, I want to take this. I don't have any money on me now. I will definitely put 50 cents or whatever in there later. So I took the kazoo, made the video, and I never put the money in. I feel bad to this day.
Can we find this man and can we mail him 50 cents? Will he be confused by it? Maybe, but then you'll have like a good conscience. You can rest easy now for the rest of your life, knowing you paid that debt off.
I do, yeah. I should probably
50 cents with inflation. Can we like bump it up to like $1.50? You know, because it's been a minute since you stole it.
Yeah, true.
Okay. We bought a kazoo. That's a good one, AJ.
Nice.
That got me good. We bought a kazoo.
That should be the name of a future stream.
Yeah, we're naming 100%. Even if it has nothing to do with kazoos. We're naming a future stream. We bought a kazoo.
So, the next question: what is one famous stadium you want to catch a game at?
Yes, that was a good one, and it can be any sport. So, to clarify, it doesn't have to be any specific sport. I think I have my answer.
Yeah. If you want to go.
God, I don't know. Oh, this is hard. Okay. Well, I mean,
I have mine if you want me to go first.
Yeah, you go first. Okay. Also, to preface, this is like the bucket list one, but last week I went on this whole thing about stadiums. There are like many stadiums I want to visit. So whatever my answer is, it's not like the only one. Just to preface.
So the way the question's worded, I would pick if it was like any stadium ever, I think I would pick the old Shea Stadium because I
fair.
always
we'll allow time travel in this question.
We can do that. If it's nowadays like active stadiums, I'd pick Fenway Park for.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
In the green monster. I have family ties to Boston back in the day, like back in the origin of Boston.
Mm-hmm. The origins of they settled Boston. Your kin.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they named Boston. They named Boston after my like grandfather's church in Boston, England. He settled to Boston. They named Boston after the church he was in. When I was visiting Boston, actually on the same symphonic band I was with that old guy.
Stole the kazoo?
Who I stole a kazoo from. I found his like one of his tombs or a tomb. He has like a historic tomb or he's buried in England, but like they have like a dedicated tomb for him in Boston too.
Oh wow!
So
that's nifty.
Yeah,
I feel like you have to. That's how. Wait, Juice, how have we been friends for years and I've never heard? First of all, I didn't know the kazoo story, and now I learned about your like really legit connection to the city of what? That's wild.
Maybe because the other two dopes do all the talking.
Yeah, right. This is our time to shine, Juice. Gone. Just kidding. Actually, please come back. We love you.
Yeah.
I really can't sleep that well without you, Mike. So please come back. But look at all the great intel we are finding out right now. That is crazy. That's crazy cool. Also, Fenway I think any like really cool historical baseball stadium is just fascinating. Mm-hmm. Like even if you don't like baseball, which if you don't, why baseball is a great sport. But let's say you're one of those weirdos who didn't. I just think to catch a game at somewhere like, Fenway or Wrigley Field or something would be really cool. So I get that. Yeah, it is the juice of Bethany. This is where we get behind those walls, as Garth Brooks once said. They're coming down between you and me.
The walls between you and me.
Yeah, and we hashed it out. We have a great time. My state. So actually, this is tricky. I think I've sorted it out though. So I was thinking because I've gone to a lot of American sporting events. I mean, I actually am very lacking in baseball, like MLB. Anyways, I've been to like a lot of minor league stadiums and stuff, but I'm lacking in Major League Baseball. But I've been to a lot of American sporting events, which is awesome. And I love it. I love American football. I love baseball, all that jazz. But basketball, a lot of good arenas. But I also do really, really love soccer or football, as the rest of the world calls it. And I was trying to think, like, where would I want to catch a football match? Like, the world's most beautiful game. Like, where would be a great place? Like, obviously, like Brazil would be cool, like seeing it in one of their national stadiums or something. Maybe I was in a football stadium in Argentina once, but not to actually catch a football match. It was to watch a concert. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of got introduced to soccer through the World Cup. And then I started watching the Premier League. So I have a special soft spot in my heart for the Premier League, even though my husband hates it because all of them were terrible tippers. And we'll get into that when we get to the service industry stories. But I saw a soft spot in my heart for the Premier League, and I always thought that Anfield, which is where Liverpool plays, would be really cool, or somewhere like Old Trafford, which is where Man U plays, just because of the history. But again, the Ted Lasso fan in me would probably pick where Crystal Palace plays, because that is where they filmed Ted Lasso. It's also AFC Richmond Stadium. So I would really like to go catch a match of Crystal Palace's, because I would be cool, because it would be getting to see something in the Premier League, but also it would be a tie to one of my all-time favorite TV shows. So I guess that's going to be my answer is going up on my number one stadiums that I'd like to visit in the world. But I have a whole list of places.
As my only soccer football fandom is from Ted Lasso. So if I was going to visit any
Crystal Palace, we all have to go. Yeah. I mean, it would be a good time. Go to Richmond Green. That'd be sweet.
So that was the warm-up questions.
Yeah, those are the easy ones. Now we're getting wild.
Now we're into the hard ones. So if you could go on an 80s childhood bike ride with 3 fictional characters.
Actually, the hardest question ever in the history of ever. I want everyone to know that I was given What? That I was given these questions in advance, and yet I still can't think of a good answer. And okay. All right. Okay. So it's a very important question. It's a question that's near and dear to my heart. 3 fictional characters.
Doesn't mean that like that you're all children. You can be.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
for sure. It could be like anyone that I want.
Adults, but you're going on a childhood like bike ride.
All right, so I put some thought into it. I have 2 characters that I feel very strongly about that I'm like, yes, they're in. And then it's the third one that I'm just like, I don't know, I'm trying to think about it. But I thought about it and I just think it's a funny combination. Okay, so I have to pick someone from ET, right? Because I mean, I don't have to, but for me, I do, because my love for children on bikes movies came from the movie ET. So I have to pick a character from ET. But then you're like, well, who do you pick? Do you pick ET? Do you pick Elliot? Do you pick Gertie? Drew Barrymore is my girl, so I'm gonna pick Gertie. Okay, because like legend, right? Absolute MVP. Obviously, ET would be a great answer. Yes, Jake, but I'm gonna go with Gertie. Yeah. Okay, so she's my number 1. Then I started thinking who else would be fun to go on a bike ride with. And because obviously we are living in, a hashtag Barbie summer, I was like, Barbie would be great to go, especially because growing up, I associate with bike riding. I also associate playing with Barbies, obviously, when I was still growing up. So I was like, how great would it be? I took Barbies with me on bike rides before to go over to my grandma's house to play with, but like to actually have life-size Barbie on a bike ride with me. Great, right? My girl, we'd be like a real girl power squad. Why did I not think of Botanicus William, actually? And I'm now kind of regretting my choice, and he might be my third one. But then I started thinking, okay, so, we have this whole like girl squad going. What would make it really weird? And so then I started thinking of some of my other favorite movies, and I thought of kind of a weird answer, but then I was like, no, I'm going to go back with the girl squad. And so one of my all-time favorite characters, this is not a shock to anyone, of course, is Ahsoka Tano. So I was like, let's do it. Let's just get Gertie, Ahsoka, and Barbie. We're getting on an 80s bike ride. We've got walkie-talkies. Does it make sense while we're all together? No. Does it have to? Also no. So that's probably my go-to. But now I'm sad that I didn't think of Botanicus. So if I was allowed to, he doesn't really count. He doesn't need his own bike. He can be my basket. So
right, that's what I was gonna say. With the ET, like I don't think ET would be on a bike. He'd be
exactly
in a bike.
In a basket. So it doesn't count. It's totally different. But I think that's what I've settled on. Yeah, we're going with it. I feel good about that. Juice, who would you pick? I'm very intrigued by your answer.
So I thought like we're going for just a funny like shenanigan ridden, like who knows where we're gonna end up. So right. I'm going Wayne from Wayne's World.
Okay, that's fun. I like that.
Ted from Bill and Ted, so Keanu Reeves.
Ooh, yes. Okay, I like that.
And then Rod Kimball, who is like Hot Rod, Andy Samberg, and Hot Rod.
I mean, fitting. I guess.
So I've just the conversations, the jokes, where we end up riding to. I'm picturing us like in like Wayne's World, like we're like in Joliet or Aurora, Illinois. Yeah, they're in either there or in California with Ted and going to visit all the Circle K's or something stupid like that. But
I like it. I feel like you do have to stop off at like a gas station for snacks and food. Yeah.
I'd like to see their interactions. Yeah, in a Circle K or in like what gas station food that they order.
Yes. Yeah. What's their thing? Do they trust gas station hot dogs? These are the questions that you could get answered. Also, it just makes me want to, I don't know, summer's coming to an end. Not really. I live in the Southeast. So we know they're like 2 months before it doesn't feel like summer anymore. Oh my God. I've looked up the weather in Minnesota and it looks so nice. I'm so excited. But anyhow, summer's winding down as far as like kids are going back to school. And I'm just thinking about riding the bike in the summer and just, like the silly shenanigans you can get up to. And it pleases me. I like it. The music you listen to on your bike ride. And it'll be good. Very good. Good.
So in the scenario where you have a child in the future or maybe a dear like nephew or niece, What book would you be most excited to read that child?
This was my favorite question you asked. This was a really, really tough one because this is literally like one of the reasons I would want to have children is to like experience movies and books and stuff like for the first time again. It's like one of my favorite things about having nieces and nephews is like getting them into the weird shit that I'm into and watching them enjoy it. So this is a very, very good question. I love this. So I had a lot of possible answers. But when it all boils down to it, shameless plug, you should go listen to Hate Spinnerbait podcast. It's great. I literally talk about Sarah Dessen novels. My all-time favorite author is Sarah Dessen. I have a whole podcast where I talk about her books, for goodness sakes. And I recently met her, in case y'all didn't hear, which you probably should have heard because I've only blabbed about it a million times about how amazing she was. She was the most amazing. Like, if you're going to pick an author to stand this woman because she was so amazing. Like, she was so nice and, like, just the coolest person. But anyways, she's great. And it was just an absolute honor, a childhood dream to meet her. And I can't wait until like my nieces. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I don't know if that was I don't know.
That was weird. Okay.
I don't know what happened.
I muted for a minute. In the middle of my very passionate speech. But anywho, so we're back, everyone. So anywho, basically, okay, just want to make sure my audio is working. All right. My very first book I ever read by her, my absolute favorite book I've ever read by her, it actually has a game where they ask important questions, and it was the last question that we asked her when we met her and interviewed her. So that book is The Truth About Forever. So that would be, that would just mean the world to me to like, if I had kids, or again, like my nieces and nephews, when they get old enough to read it, for them to read it and like us to be able to talk about it, it would just be so cool. So that's my answer. Yeah.
Love it. This was tough because I definitely wrote this question for you, not for me. Like I don't really even know how to read. I think I would just pick like The Lord of the Rings or something. Like that's
a good answer. That's a classic.
I feel like there is a Star Wars book out there because I do plan on like every once in a while I'll be like, I should read that book, and then I'm like, I'll wait till I have kids and read it to them for like.
I'll wait till I have kids.
So I'm sure there's like a Star Wars book out there that like is the real answer, but I haven't really read many. So a book that I have read and viewing The Lord of the Rings as one book, I think I'd read it to them. I think I'd try to make it fun. I would skip through because I remember like falling asleep during and just skipping chapters. Like,
I mean, it's pretty. How long is it? Like, it's quite lengthy, right?
All three of them are huge. So like, yeah. I don't remember, but maybe I try to. Oh no, I actually. This is all a lie. The Chronicles.
This is all a lie.
Yeah, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's my answer. Yeah,
that's a classic. Yeah. I do love that. And the movie, at least the first movie, is quite good. The sequels didn't hold up as well, but the first one is really well done.
Yeah.
Waco's comment here. Regrettable choice. Yikes. Yeah. I also wonder that it's kind of a weird story to explain to a child. It's weird that is considered a children's story, I have to say.
I don't think I ever read that. We'll save it for when I have kids. Or
there's gonna be so many books you get to experience now, Juice, for all these things you're saving for when you have kids.
Or the real answer, I will be back in 5 seconds.
Oh, suspense. This just gives me time to once again plug my podcast, my other podcast, Hate Spinnerbait. You can find it wherever podcasts are available. You can listen to my really great interview with Sarah Dessen. It was great. Thank you. Okay, that's it. That's enough of me plugging now.
Never mind. That was completely unnecessary. It was an arm's reach. Or we do the Shrek book.
What is that? I don't think I've ever seen that in my life.
So this is the original 1990 Shrek that the movie is not based on from a story perspective, but from a character and name perspective. And
Gotcha.
I will one day do a live What the Show story time reading of Shrek.
Personally, I cannot wait.
Look forward to that.
I very much am looking forward to that.
One of my closest friends is going to be like the first friend of my friend group that have a kid, and I cannot wait to like just read them random stuff. And gosh, I hate this hair.
I on the other hand really love it, and I think that it looks good. Like maybe not in that exact moment,
figure it out.
But overall, I think I've been loving the longer hair.
Thank you.
I think you've been rocking it.
If I can get it right, it parted weird today, but that's all right.
The struggle. I feel
so
like that every day.
If you had to travel around the country eating at one theme chain restaurant, which would it be and why?
This is all because we've fallen down a rabbit hole here at What the Show. And my answer is so obvious to me, which is one of the ones that they have actually done. Although I did say at What the Show, we might also go on a group road trip to visit every Bubba Gump. But I think I would get real tired of answering Forrest Gump trivia real quick. But I think Rainforest Cafe. It has everything I love about it. Stupid menu name items, animatronics, random noisy things, way overpriced food, sippers where you get characters that you can get a collectible drink out of. Yes, please. If I had to pick between like a Margaritaville or a Rainforest Cafe, 1000% Rainforest Cafe all day, every day. Yes. As someone who worked at Margaritaville, it would be literally traumatizing to me to have to go. Oh, yeah. And I will be visiting the Mall of America real soon, and the OG Rainforest Cafe is there, and you best believe I'm visiting it. I'm not going to eat there, but I'm going to visit it.
That's awesome. So, honestly, of all of the like big theme chain restaurants, the only one I've actually eaten at was in the Twin Cities at Mall of America, and it was Bubba Gump. So that's the only one I've eaten at, but I don't want to. I was still hungry. We spent, I think I've pulled the picture up on the show before, but like me and one of the other members of the party, we like splurged. We weren't paying for it, so we spent like $60 on like a shared like jumbo like big shrimp whatever platter, and I was still hungry after eating.
Oh yeah, that's
$60 worth of food, or 30, I guess. But
no.
So no, I don't want to go there. But
that's fair.
I mean, it was still really good. But
I feel like you fit the vibe of Margaritaville. But I'm gonna let you know right now: don't ever step foot in one. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
I haven't watched the video yet. Maybe I would change my mind. But I'm thinking about like medieval times, maybe.
Ooh, yeah, that's fun. Does that count? I mean,
weird.
I think that counts. It's like
it was on the list when I Googled it this afternoon.
Yeah, it is huge dining. That's very true. And there are multiple locations, so it does count as a chain. So yeah, I think medieval times counts. If you love eating with your hands, you can't go wrong.
Otherwise, I'd have to pick like Chuck E. Cheese or something, which I don't really want to do.
No, oh God, that would be. Also, that one has way too many locations. Yeah. You need like just the right amount of locations. Like not too many. Can you imagine going to every church? No, no, thank you, not this girl. No, that's so funny. He called you to get the right answers. That's hysterical. As if like you'll be penalized for eating a Bubba Gump if you can't answer the trivia question. They don't kick you out. It's fine. To Casa Bonita, I just decided that would be fun though. My sister now lives in Denver, so we have a place to crash.
Oh man. Casa Bonita. So this can be more of a rapid fire question, but what animal would you most want to keep as a pet?
The animal that I have, my dog.
Oh, okay.
That's probably not a real answer, but the first thing that pops in my mind. A dog. I've had dogs my whole life. I like them.
I think a lion would be cool. However, I looked up the lifespan and it's only like 10 years. So now I'm like, I think I'd rather pick like a 100-year turtle. I want the pet to outlive me.
Yeah, not so.
Because the pets, unless it's depending on the pet, but likely if it's something cool like that, it's not going to grieve over me. So I don't want something that's going to die before me and I grieve over it. So I'd rather pick like a turtle that's going to outlive me.
I like that. What a great outlook on life, Juice. Yeah, I like that. I like turtles.
So you can see your favorite musical artist or band in any country or any other country in the world. Where would you pick to see a show?
I'm going to give a quick answer to this because I mostly wrote this question because I was curious of your answer. I'm going to say, as someone who has traveled to South America, and it was a great time, South Americans, like, they know how to concert. That's all I'm going to say. 10 out of 10 would recommend. But I also have plans to go to Sweden, hopefully, to see Taylor Swift. Very excited about that. We'll see how they do it in Scandinavia. But since those two things are already planned, and I'm picking, I would say Japan, because I really want to go to Japan. I think it would be such a cool thing, like polar opposite South America. It's like, the entire time. And in Japan, apparently, they're just like really respectful and they just like sit there quietly, which would be weird for me because I like singing along, but I just want to witness it. Like, I think that's the fun of seeing a musical act that you really like in another country, is like seeing the cultural dynamics of how they witness this artist and how they experience a concert. So long story short, Japan.
Sweden and Brazil would be in my top 5. Finland, I'm trying to think of what the fifth would be, but Brazil, Sweden, Finland. Number 1 also is Japan, because they go crazy. The love for especially like the genre, like the metal genre of music that I like, is really popular in Japan, and so like Brazil, but like, and it's all European, but like they go to watch. I would just love to sit. That'd be the one show where I would want to just sit in the back. Usually I want to try to get like as far up front as possible. I just sit in the back and just take it in.
Take it in. No, 100%. I think that would be so cool. But yeah, so you know how like every music video you ever watch in your life, and the first comment is like, come to Brazil. Like, what do Brazilians do? Just sit around waiting for concerts, waiting for music. Because they're like, boy, do they love it. I keep doing you, Brazil. I respect it.
So you run into Mr. Beast, and he says he'll pay for you to eat in any restaurant in the entire world. Where do you go? What do you order? What do you drink during this completely free dinner?
The Rainforest Cafe. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have like an actual name, like a restaurant name. Okay. Yeah. But I have like an idea of what I'd want to do. Like, first of all, I'd like to like
that's the important
somewhere part, like, you know, like a nice Italian vineyard. You know what I mean? Like my idea would be like a nice 3-course meal where it's like just all the cheese, right? Like, I just feel so sick after, but not. It's like a magical meal where I'm full, but I'm not so full that I feel sick and disgusting. Like, I start off with a nice assorted cheese plate with some fruit and a nice glass of wine, and then you go into like a nice pasta dish that's got like, again, some nice cheese and something like that, and then like a delicious light fruity dessert to finish it off. Like, that's my vibe, with like a wine pairing for like each, you know, course.
That's the restaurant that I work at kind of does that.
So I will just go there then.
On your like second wedding anniversary or something should come up.
We're just gonna head out to Wisconsin. You know what? It's on my list. I'm doing 50 for 50.
I'll at least be able to get you the cheese platter for free. Yes. And the drinks. But
I'm so into that. Yes.
So I kind of thought of it in like general, but then I like just started looking for actual restaurants online and had some time. So I spent like 45 minutes and finally found a restaurant in Japan. We're going back to Japan, But
yeah, while
the
you're
reason
there,
I picked this, so
your concert.
I went from like best food. Like I would find like a list of the best restaurants in the world. I'd go to like that restaurant. I'd look up reviews and it'd be like the food was great, service was terrible. And I'm like,
oh yeah, can't stand that.
I'm like, if Mr. Beast is paying for the whole thing, I need to expand my mind from food and think about drinks.
Experience.
So I found a place that had an extensive like wine and whiskey collection. So that I could just be like, yeah, I'll take that $7,000 bottle of wine and I'll just have a glass of it. And and then I'll take that.
Does anyone else want the rest of this bottle?
Yeah, who else wants the rest? You peasants. I'll take that like $100 2-ounce pour of Macallan 35 or whatever. So I found a place in Japan that was like kind of like that, and it was a steakhouse. Wolfgang Steakhouse, Signature Japan. I even found the menu.
All right, so what are you eating? I want to know.
So they have a prime filet mignon. I'd get that, and I would get the ribeye steak.
Oh, both. Okay.
I get both and just eat like
what you want
from both. Eat what I want.
Because it's free.
They have a New York sirloin, which is probably awful. Why would you go to Japan and order a New York sirloin? But anyways,
I don't know. Good question that you bring up, but I don't know. So there you are, $7,000 bottle of wine, all the steak you can eat. Yeah, I respect it. And you're in Japan. It's like a win-win-win.
You're in Japan.
You're in Japan. Like,
all
who's mad about that? Nobody.
So, speaking of going to other places, what era of history would you most want to spend time in?
Wow. As a woman, not a lot of eras are great for me. But with that said, I love a good period piece. I love ball gowns. I love balls. I love the barely touching of the dancing. I'm also obsessed with the Haunted Mansion and old spooky looking houses. So I'm into like either Edwardian or Victorian times because I like the fashion a lot from Edwardian. Victorian fashion I like a decent amount as well, but Edwardian fashion is probably my fave. But yeah, anywhere that I can like go to a grand, but where a duke can invite me to, like, I want to live out my Bridgerton Pride and Prejudice dreams here. Okay, so like that kind of vibes, and live in like a Victorian mansion. So that, and women did actually have pockets in their dresses then, so respect to that. We had that going for us.
Yeah, I'm thinking just like 1970s, just random, sleazy nightclub.
Yeah, you got the mustache.
Don Draper, random, just doing, just witnessing all of the weird things that would happen. So what fictional universe would you want to visit the most?
That's very difficult. Back in the day, I would have said, it's like a lot of like fictional universes that I read are like not happy things aren't happening there, and like who wants to go, visit that. Back in the day, I would have said Harry Potter because like cool magic, whatever. But like me and Harry Potter aren't the best of terms right now, so like But I'm gonna take it back to. I guess I just like want to go to like a fictionalized version of the 80s. You know what I mean? Like kind of Stranger Things, but without like a Demogorgon following me, because like the actual 80s, like there were real life problems going on. But in 80s and movies and TV, it's like the idealized.
There you go. That's good.
80s, you know what I mean? So like Stranger Things 80s, but like without having to fight a Demogorgon, because like that's very tiresome.
Just go to a different part of the country. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have to go to Hawkins, Indiana. I can go like hang out in California or something cool,
Yeah.
7 board pizza. It's fine. It's cool.
I think I'd pick Star Wars just because there's so many different planets, and I was able to like do like the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I love the scene in Mandalorian where he like is getting on the train and like or the sky train, but like just like I can go visit a water planet and then a fire like.
Or like Coruscant,
Sweat.
Naboo.
Yeah.
I would steer clear of Mustafar and any sand planets, like no Jakku or Tatooine for me. But it's just me personally.
And being a Lord of the Rings fan, I don't want to pick Lord of the Rings because most of it's just set in like New Zealand. So like I could just go to New Zealand.
Go to New Zealand,
yeah,
exactly.
Just see it.
I'll actually just go to New Zealand.
So, if you could recast James Remar in any role, what role would you pick?
That's a really great question. Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't have like a serious answer for this one. It just had to be asked. We can't have a What the Show stream without bringing up James.
We had to bring up James Remar.
Who was in Oppenheimer? Hey.
Oh yeah.
Do you think he was sad because he had to leave Griffith Park to like film that for a couple hours?
Totally. Yeah.
And I don't even know what a jabroni is.
I wish that was what he said.
But yes, specifically as Ugly Sonic. I don't want him to be the new and improved version that they made after the first trailer came out. Just like keep him as Ugly Sonic 100%. What are you casting James Remar in, Juice?
So I thought a lot. I went through like a lot of movies.
Mm.
And then I reread the question again as if you can recast James Remar in any role, what would you pick?
Role? Yeah.
So I decided to turn my mind away from movies and I decided to go towards shows and shows that I want to watch. So I'm going to recast James Remar as Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable in The Cosby Show.
It would be really weird and not make any sense, but also it wouldn't be problematic Bill Cosby anymore.
It would just be a different actor delivering all of the lines, all of the hilarious lines that Cosby wrote, but just it'd be James Remar instead. And then like everyone would be able to watch The Cosby Show again.
Yeah, it would no longer. Well, it might still be problematic, but in a different way. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not. Yeah,
it would be fine. We'd all be able to enjoy the laughs again.
And it is, it's not blackface. It's nothing like that. It's just straight up James Remar is just replacing
a comfy sweater.
The lines that Cosby already said.
You know what? Honestly, co-signed. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So part of me is like glad that my future kids won't be able to watch The Cosby Show because I'll be able to like deliver all of like I watched it enough to like where I have like his like the good parts of his like fatherly wisdom. Like I got that down. So I'll be able to deliver that and they won't like be able to counter. It's like I can just deliver like the good stuff.
My dad's just really smart. And I'd be like, if only you knew, kids, if only you knew.
So what is the most absurd thing that you have witnessed while working at a restaurant?
I feel like I have so many, and once we finish the stream, I'm gonna be like, actually, I thought of a way better one because boy, I worked over a decade in restaurants, and I witnessed some absurdity. Okay, y'all, but I have to say, the first thing that popped in my mind when you sent me this question was when I worked 2 men's World Cups and 1 women's World Cup during my tenure at NBC Sports, which of course is at a theme park, which of course meant we got a lot of international guests. So the most absurd thing I ever witnessed was pretty much everything that happened during that first World Cup when it was just mass pandemonium. But we had a Mexico match on. I cannot honestly recall who they were playing that day, but they were doing well. And this lady just looked us like literally square in the eye and was so excited that her team just scored that she stood up and she just broke one of our app plates, like while staring at a server. Like, how do you do that? Like, would you break a plate in your home? Like, no, like that's not your property, ma'am. Like, why would you do that? And like, it was ridiculous. Like the things that happened, just like people sitting on the floors when it was like clearly like a fire hazard. Like we were definitely breaking some fire codes during that World Cup. Things are just everything about it just the word absurd, I think, absolutely summarizes perfectly. And I'm all for people cheering for their teams. I'm all for people being fans. I know what Mike's answer is, and it's that one crazy lady that he dealt with. But that's his story, so I'll let him tell that one.
We'll get it next week.
We'll get it next time. But a Levi in Brazil. Yeah, so there was a server Levi none of us really liked working with. He was kind of a jabroni, to put it mildly. But I did have mad respect for him on the last day that Brazil played Belgium and they got eliminated. Thank thy Lord. And he basically, this one Brazilian guy was like pissed off at him for something, and he started clapping when Belgium scored, when they were winning or whatever. And so his one table, obviously pretty much all of our tables were Brazilian, who had fans from Belgium, you know. And so his one table, you know, and half of them like didn't even speak very good English. And he's like, it doesn't matter. You're not going to tip me anyway. And he wasn't wrong, but it was a bold move. It was a bold move. There were some real wild things that let me tell you.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was just if I could categorize the entire first World Cup I had to work, and that is the most absurd thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. I think I missed a lot of absurd stuff by starting in the industry like pre-COVID. So like apparently like their story, like the restaurant I started at was like one of the busiest restaurants just ever leading up to that. And I joined like the fall after like a crazy summer. And so I didn't get too much. Since I've been in like the fancier where we do all the cheese, we had just some like random things that came into my mind. I wrote down, like we had like this kid. I mean, he couldn't have been much more than my age. Just with his friends, you know, on a golf trip, he just bought like a $7,000 bottle of Screaming Eagle wine just because he could. Like I think he had like he won a bet or something, made, you know, had a ton of money, but like just to like for $7,000 to just like that for no reason, for no reason. Like it's not like if it's like you're a 65-year-old man or 65-year-old like, and you know like where the rest of your money is going, and it's like I can do this. Like
also for like celebrating like, some big
or like something like that. But it he just did it because he could do it, it's like you're in your 20s. Like put that money into investments and just let that turn into $21,000.
The most responsible person with money, even I am thinking that's a bold choice there.
Yeah, I'll leave.
Bold choice. You could be making better decisions. But some people are just show offs, and it's like I'm with my buddies, and I want to show that I've got money, and it's like no, like that could have gone to so many other. Like he could have gone on a whole nother trip with that money. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. The things you could do, and you bought it. Like it's just dumb. People are dumb.
Way to go.
If you learn anything from working in the service industry for a very long time, is that people in general are just real dumb.
Yeah. We had a guy that actually a better segue. So our distributors will come in every once in a while. We have like a big food and wine event every October. So like a month before that event, our distributors all came in. And so we're like known as like kind of the big like whiskey scotch bar. So we have a lot of expensive scotches. And so one of like the reps, I don't know like what position he is, but he was like, have you ever had this Macallan 40? So Macallan scotch, 40 years aged. It's $1,000 for an ounce and a half.
Yeah, no, thank you.
He's like, have you ever had it? I'm like, no. He's like,
no, because who can afford that, sir?
Yeah. He's like, it's awesome. Well, he's like, I was working with I had like one coworker with me. He's like, we'll buy you guys a taste of it. I'm like, you'll buy us like an ounce and a half of Macallan 40? He's like, yeah, totally. Like then you guys can taste it and, you know, and you can sell it. I'm like, okay. So we ended up like, we rang it in, poured 1.5 ounces. We each just sipped it, and it was crazy. And the funny part is the bottle's like halfway gone, and like actually now to this day the bottle is like basically gone. But like, how are we? They bought us like a good chunk of a bottle to like sell it, even though the bottle's like basically would have been gone anyway. So, but we did get to taste $1,000.
Like, but we appreciate you, sir, for donating to the cause.
Yeah, it was good.
Because when else are you gonna have that in your life? Except for when Mr. Beast pays for your entire Japanese meal, then that's a different story. Obviously, then you can experience it again in your life.
What? Yeah.
People will be crazy.
Nothing else that haven't already told at some point. So what was the weirdest coworker you've ever had? Like, what were they like?
I feel like I have so many that I was really trying to think of. Like, I'm like, oh, who takes the cake for being the absolute weirdest? Again, just the amount of the people I've worked with over the years. That's another thing about the service industry. You'll work with the coolest people and bond with people in such a unique way, and you will also work with the weirdest walks of life that you would have never interacted with if it wasn't for this job. Golly, I don't know. There's just so many. There was a man who was one of our managers. I wouldn't even call him the weirdest because we had weirder, and he did get fired for literally like chucking a plate which had a steak knife on it, like a heavy steak knife. It wasn't so much the knife part, honestly, that was an issue that he threw. It would have been more the other part. He basically threw a plate and a knife at the wall, and it hit one of our servers, which would make him weird, and he was an unusual man. But he also he was a big Doctor Who fan, which, like, respect, sir, same. But every day to work, he carried his little, like, sonic screwdriver with him. And it was just very bizarre to me. And then also he once came into work dressed up in, like, full Slytherin garb. Like, he was coming into Universal just, like, hang out that day. But he, like, stopped in with his, like, full-on, like, Death Eater Slytherin look. And I was like, a lot, sir. And again, I love a theme. Clearly, I had a whole effing Star Wars wedding. Like, I love a theme, but it was just like, I don't know, to go in your place of employment like that. It was very, he just was very like flamboyant and like, which again is fine, but just like, he was just such a weird dude. But honestly, he's not even the weirdest that I worked with, but just for some reason, I will never forget the fact that he came to work every day with a sonic screwdriver. And I was just like, that is bizarre. But there's definitely there's so many weird people, just like the weird life stories people will tell you.
Yeah.
Also a lot of like annoying people I have worked with. Yeah. Bizarre people. Bizarre people.
Your story reminds me of ones I haven't witnessed, but like apparently like in the restaurant I work right now, there was like a manager that would help out like in the bar when we were busy. And like because you get like that point like where we only have like a little certain amount of space, we polish all the glasses. And so when glasses come out of the dishwasher, we put them on this area. And so it gets frustrating because sometimes like you're trying to put clean glassware and there's no room to put the clean glassware because all the clean glassware is stacked up. So apparently there was this guy that would just, if like he grabbed a clean like a glassware and there's nowhere to put it, he would just throw it against like the wall towards the garbage can, just like it would just shatter.
Like, no, sir, you can't do that.
Like, and he was the manager, so it was like he was like there's nobody to report to. He's the guy.
Reasons that we had people get fired from my last job is just absolutely all the stories I could tell. Like, it's legendary, some of these things. Absolutely legendary.
Yeah. I
put you in Slytherin. That is rude of him. People just assume. Don't just be assuming my Hogwarts house, okay?
Yeah, I gotta take my quiz to find out for Matt Thomas's wedding which house I am. Do you know what house I might be? I don't.
You know, that's such a great question. I know what Mike is. I know what I am. I feel like you might be like me and be a fellow Hufflepuff. I could kind of also see you being a Ravenclaw, like just a little bit. I don't think you're Slytherin. I don't think you have a Slytherin bone in your body. Gryffindor is so hard because like Gryffindor to me is just like so vague in a sense because it's like brave and whatever that it's like I don't know at any particular time I feel like anyone could kind of fall into that. Right. But yeah, I think there's more unique things per se about Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. Also, I was the type of person who always identified with being part of Hufflepuff and was never like so many people are like, oh, I was so embarrassed when I first, took my Pottermore quiz and I was placed in Hufflepuff, but now I've come around to it. And I was like, no, I was always proud to be Hufflepuff. Always, always, always. Best house. I don't know anyone would. There's this thing we used to call it. This was like back in the day before there was an actual like Pottermore quiz. We used to call it the cookie test. And you'd ask people this question about a cookie and you could kind of gauge what house you thought they were in. So would you like me to ask you the cookie test?
Okay.
Okay. So this is what we're going to do. All right. Yeah. I am rocking my puff. House to the yeah. And I also would just like to go on record since I'm talking so much about Harry Potter and say that I believe that trans people deserve rights. Okay. Thank you. I don't want to be accidentally associated with a turf here. Okay. But anywho, but I'm rocking my puff. I'll be rocking my puff at Matt Thomas's wedding. You best believe this girl be showing up in yellow, baby. But anyways, okay. So here's the cookie test. All right. So imagine you're on a theme park. Okay, we're gonna use a theme park because obviously I'm obsessed with them. So you're at like Disney World.
Oh, I can't hear you. Is it?
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why it does that. I like hit the wire, I think. My apologies. Okay, so you're at a theme park, right? You've got it. You've got it in your head, right? And so basically imagine one of those places where it's like those really big cookies that like you're not meant to eat in one sitting. It's like a massive, whatever your favorite kind of cookie is, just imagine, right? It's big, okay? So you're with a group of friends, a couple of good friends, right? Like you've been friends with these people for a long time. So here are your options. One, you know that your stomach is going to hurt later on the Hulk, but like this cookie is so good and you cannot stop eating it. And like, you're just going to effing eat this whole cookie. Like your friends are looking at you and they want this cookie, but you're like, you didn't bring money. You didn't buy it. This is my cookie. Be damned. That's option number one, right? Option number two. You're smart about it, right? You look at this cookie. You're like, okay, the weather is nice today. It's not July in Florida. It's a good weather day. You've gone and visited, Universal in say, let's February, right? The weather is good today. I've got my drawstring backpack with me. I'm going to break this cookie in half. I'm going to half of it now when I bought it. And then I'm going to save the half for later. Like on the drive home today, like I'm really going to appreciate this cookie, right? Option number three, you're with your friends. And you're like, oh my God, my friend, my dear friend here, Bob, has been a really good friend to me for so many years. And I know that he likes this cookie as well. And I bought it, but I'm going to share a little bit with my friend Bob because like he looks hungry. I'm hungry. Then we both win. Okay. So that's option three. Then option four is you're like, okay, I'm going to try to eat as much of this cookie as I possibly can. And I'm probably not going to finish it all, but I'm going to like try to eat it. And then like, maybe I'll share some with my friends if I can't finish it. But like, I don't know. We're going to come up with that. We're going to cross that bridge when we get there. That is the cookie test. What would you pick?
What was the second one?
So the second one was you're smart about it, right? You buy this big cookie, you save money for this cookie, you've been looking forward to this cookie. So you're going to like eat half of it now, put the rest in your bag, eat it on the way home from the park.
So last week, Wednesday, I went to like a bar that I like to go to, and and this guy bought like, he ordered like a breadless burger for himself, like just like a low carb keto, whatever. And then he bought like 2 like massive appetizer trays of like fried, like random fried stuff. And he just went around, he had a couple of them, but like he just went around and was like, you got to try these. Like, and he got rid of all of it, like everyone around him, like he would just gave them to people. It was like, you got to try this. That's what I would buy a massive cookie. I'd take a bite, be like, I don't let cookies here have the rest of my cookie.
Yeah,
So whichever part that falls
Okay, I predicted correctly then, and I said I thought you would be a Hufflepuff. Per the cookie test, you answered Hufflepuff. Welcome, brethren. Welcome to House Hufflepuff. It's a good place to be.
So what colors does that mean I have to wear to Matt
Yellow and
Thomas's
black.
wedding? I'll wear black.
There you go. Well, you'll have to have like a little pop of yellow because yellow is like the main color. Like black is like accented, but I mean it is technically yellow and black are our house colors.
I'll figure something out. I'll get a yellow tie or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say wear like black and then yellow, like a little yellow tie or like a little yellow pocket square or something.
Yeah.
So there you go. You have been cookie tested.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to have a fellow Hufflepuff. I will most likely be wearing what I'm wearing to the Ed Sheeran concert in a couple of weeks because I will be wearing yellow in honor of his album Subtract. And then I was like, whatever I wear to that, as long as it's like wedding appropriate enough, which it should be. I think it's going to be a dress. I can then wear it to the wedding because I am a Hufflepuff. So there you go. The more you know, y'all, the more you know.
The more you know. We got it down. Well, do you have any service industry story you'd like to end on that you can think of, or
I think a good way to go out with a bang here. Golly, tip your servers first and foremost. You know, I'm gonna go out. There are a lot of crazy things that happen in the service industry, okay? And we could fill up a whole stream about that. And trust me, one day we probably will.
We should do that.
But I'm going to go out tonight on a positive note. So it's Wednesday night. We had a great stream. And I'm just going to talk about weird little things that would restore my faith in humanity working in the service industry. Because there were some good ones, you know? There definitely were. But just little things like friends making me pictures, like little kids. I would sit at my table and make me pictures. I kept all of them. I loved that. That's my favorite thing. And my favorite thing that probably ever happened to me when I was working at Universal, which this is like so me, is this little girl. She was very cute. She bought a little baby ET. And so she had a big ET and she had a baby ET. So I was like, well, that's ET, like pointing to the big one. What's the baby one's name? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, you can just call it baby ET if you want. And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, how about by the end of this meal, we come up with a name for it? And she's like, okay. So, you know, obviously I'm taking care of this table. I'm taking care of other tables. And I would check in on her periodically. And I'd be like, have you come up with a name? No. So we brainstormed a couple of names. I can't remember. And so finally, at the end of the meal, her mom made me like this really cool origami. Like she folded my tip into origami, which was really cool. And I came back and the mom was talking to the little girl. And so the little girl, so the mom goes, go ahead, ask her. So the little girl goes, what's your name? Which of course I'm wearing a name tag, but she was little, she couldn't read. And I go, Bethany. And she goes, that's what I'd like to name it. Let me tell y'all, I cried. So sometimes being a server really sucks. And then other times, literally your entire faith in humanity is restored.
That's
so to that little girl out there who probably now, I mean, this wasn't that long ago, but she's probably like, at the time she would have been like, I don't know, 3 or 4. And now she's probably like 7 or 8 or whatever. I just want her to know. She'll never know that I think about that to this day. But I just want her to know, thank you for restoring my faith in humanity, child. She hit me right at home. She named a little ET after me. What an honor.
That's awesome.
What an absolute honor. Kids, man, they're the best.
Kids are the best. Well, I think my weirdest coworker that I ever had was when we were going to have a robot deliver food.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
It's 2 minutes for roping. I like that. You're a jabroni.